Okay, I'm not quite sure how far we're going to get in class today, so please fast forward to the section you need. I'll just go through the whole thing together. So, when you filled out your foldable, we talked about yesterday that for x-intercepts, the blank on a line that crosses the blank axis. So it's the point on the line that crosses the x-axis for the x-intercept. And the y-intercept would be the point or ordered pair on the line that crosses the y-axis. So in an x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always 0. Y-coordinate is always 0. So my example of that would be like 10, 0. The y-coordinate is 0. For y-intercepts, the x-coordinate is always 0. The x-coordinate is always 0. So it would be something like 0, -7. So using the fact that the 0 on the x-intercept is in the y spot, we can plug that into equations. So in example 1, we want to do some estimating and then we'll accurately calculate it. So when I look at the graph, my estimated y-intercept is right here. So that would be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, call it 5.5. So I'm going to call that a 0, 5.5. And my estimated x might be 1, 2, 2.5. So 2.5, 0. But we can accurately calculate that. So what we're going to spend our time on today is plugging those zeros in. So in an x-intercept up above, we wrote the y-coordinate is always 0. The y-coordinate is always 0. So I'm going to take my equation, y equals -2.5x plus 5.75, and substitute 0 in place of y. So that would give me 0 equals -2.5x plus 5.75. So now I'm ready to solve it. So I need to take away 5.75 from both sides. And when I do that, 0 minus 5.75 is -5.75. Those are gone. Equals -2.5x. Now I'm ready to divide by -2.5, divide by -2.5. And so I want to get my calculator and divide. So -5.75 divided by -2.5 is equal to 2.3. So I get 2.3 equals x. And I estimated 2.5, so that's pretty close. On my y-intercept, the x-coordinate is always 0. The x-coordinate is always 0. So I'm going to take my equation, y equals -2.5x plus 5.75, and make x 0. So y equals -2.5 times 0 plus 5.75. And now I'm ready to do the math. -2.5 times 0 is just 0. Plus 5.75, I get 5.75. So y is equal to 5.75, and I estimated 5.5. So we can estimate fairly well on our graph, but we want to accurately calculate it. Okay, example number 2. Example number 2. Okay, let's estimate again. We're going to estimate again. And then see how close we get on our actual calculations. So when I look at this, I'm estimating the y about 1, 2, 3, I don't know, I'm going to call that -3.8. Because it's almost 4, but not quite. The x goes out here to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's call that 8.1 or something like that. Okay. So from there, I want to accurately calculate this. So I want to say that for x-intercepts, the y-coordinate is always 0. Okay? So if my y-coordinate is always 0, I'm going to take my equation from above and recopy it. 0.45x minus 3.7. So I'm going to substitute 0 for y. So 0 equals 0.45x minus 3.7. So I'm going to undo my addition or subtraction first. So add 3.7 to both sides. I will get 3.7 over here. I'm going to bring down 0.45x. So from this point, I want to undo the multiplication. So divide by 0.45. Divide by 0.45. And so go ahead and divide that on your calculator. 3.75 divided by 0.45. And so I get 8.22 repeating. And I guessed 8.1. So I was pretty close. The y-intercept. The x-coordinate is always 0. So again, copy down your equation. Y equals 0.45x minus 3.7. Plug in 0 for x. So y equals 0.45 times 0 minus 3.7. So when I do the math here, I get 0 when I multiply these. And 0 minus 3.7 is negative 3.7. So y equals negative 0.37, and I was pretty close, negative 3.8. So if you estimate and get, let's say that my estimate was negative 3.8, and I calculated like positive 3.1. Well, then I did something wrong in my math up here. So you're going to know to go back and take a look at that. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Let me check one thing over here. I think I'm missing a page. Okay, yeah. So next one, let me grab this over here. Next problem. If you want to try to do this on your own, pause the video, go ahead and do that, and then see if you're right. So I'm going to continue to work, so if you want to pause, that's fine. So the x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always 0. And then I'm going to fill this in, the x-coordinate is always 0. So when I have my equation, I have 5x minus 2y equals 10. So I want to make the y equal to 0. So I'm going to have 5x minus 2, and then in parentheses substitute in 0, equals 10. So this becomes 0. So I end up having 5x equals 10. Divide by 5, divide by 5. So x is equal to 2. Okay, so we haven't been writing this out, but my x-intercept is really 2, 0. We plugged in a 0 for y here, which is the y, and then I calculated 2. Okay, my y-intercept, so 5x minus 2y equals 10. Plug in 0 for x. 5 times 0 minus 2y equals 10. So 5 times 0 is 0, and I'm left with negative 2y equals 10. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, so y is equal to negative 5. And again, if I were writing this as an ordered pair, I have a 0 in place of x, and then a negative 5 in place of y. Now we can graph this too. One quick way to graph intercepts is to plot the two ordered pairs and connect with a line. So 2, 0 is right here. 0, negative 5 would be down here. And then when I connect them, I have just graphed my line. Okay, so there are my two intercepts. Okay, one more page, I believe. Yes. All right. So I'm going to work all of these. Like I said, you may continue for practice if you want. So feel free to pause the video. Okay, so if I want to calculate my x-intercept, I need to make y equal to 0. So when I substitute in, I'm going to do negative 3x plus 5 times 0 equals 30. So 5 times 0 is 0. So negative 3x equals 30. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. So x is equal to negative 10. So negative 10 for my x-intercept, and that ordered pair is going to be negative 10, 0. My y-intercept, and when you do a y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x. So substitute in 0 right here for x. So I would have negative 3 times 0 plus 5y equals 30. Of course, I get 0 on the front end here, so I'm just left with 5y equals 30. Divide, divide, so y is equal to 6. And my ordered pair is 0, 6. So when I graph it, negative 10, 0 is way over here. And then 0, 6 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when you connect, you have this line. Okay, last one. X and Y intercepts. So my X intercept, I am doing Y is equal to 0. So 13x minus 2 times 0 equals 33.8. This becomes 0 in the center, so I'm left with 13x equals 33.8. Divide by 13, divide by 13. So let's see what I get. I get 33.8 divided by 13, and I get 2.6. So my x-intercept is 2.6, 0. And then my y-intercept, I need to plug in x equals 0. So back to my equation, put a 0 in for x. So I'm doing 13 times 0 minus 2y equals 33.8. 13 times 0 is 0. So I'm left with negative 2y equals 33.8. Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. And when you calculate 33.8 divided by negative 2, I get y equals negative 16.9. So my intercept would be 0, negative 16.9. All right, let's graph that. We're going to have to estimate with decimals. So 2.6 would be about over 1 over 2, and I'm going to put it about in the middle there. Let me zoom in a little, okay? Now 0, negative 16.9, I'm going to go off my graph because 0, negative 10 is here. So I'm just going to estimate about right here, and then I can connect. So, okay, so that is intercept. So if you need to come back to this video when you're doing your homework over the weekend, feel free to replay sections of it.